Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live talking about episode 11 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma, Sen no Sara, or the Third Plate. And holy hell, man. The twists and turns that are unfolding in this season of this series have been nothing short of gobsmacking to me. I don't think I could have predicted that we would see a matchup, a pitting against Soma and Tsukasa this early in this stage of the show. I would have thought this was something they would have staved off to a little while from now, several episodes from now, maybe even half the season, and then finally we would build up to it. And then by the end of the episode, we get a pseudo Shokugeki, a sort of unofficial Shokugeki, challenge between them both, and it's just mind-blowing. Everything from the introduction of Azami taking over Totsuki, creating Central, ousting all these other, research groups and everything like that. Like, just everything that has been happening in this season thus far has been unpredictable, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I could not have seen coming, as I say. And so we get into this episode, and I like from right off the bat that we're opening up with more of the backdrop surrounding Alice and Arina, their history. When Alice first came up on the scene in the show, she was very much divisive against, Arina, and there was some tumultuous relationship dynamics going on between them, and I really wondered what was up with that. This answers a lot of those questions, but I got to be frank, I'm really surprised that they actually began as friends. We saw hints and whispers of this in episodes previous in this season thus far. But even more so, the idea that Arina had wanted to be very close with Alice, wanted her to write to her when Alice had to move away and everything like that. And it was Azami, her father, who intervened and made sure she would never find those letters. And Alice, where, when she first came up on the scene, she was very much antagonistic toward Arina. You could see that they really weren't coming from the same place. And they really didn't like each other. And it's like Alice has now matured, and she's got that newfound information, that newfound perspective about Azami, that it was his influence negatively on Arina that kept them apart and all that kind of stuff. And so she's very much backing Arina. She's being supportive of her. She cares about her. They're both sort of being tsundere in that they won't admit it, but they both do care about each other. They have these fond memories, and they're kind of finding each other again, and I really, really dig that. I also love, Alice's getting up in the face of Azami and telling him off. For all of what he's doing to Totsuki, for creating Central, for ousting all these research facilities and things like that on school grounds, on the academic grounds, and everything that he did to have a negative influence over Arina, she puts him in his place. I don't like you. And he is plenty peeved when he leaves. She really struck at the heart of him, which is kind of surprising considering how big of a bastard he actually is. But I loved it. I love that Arina was able to hear that. And then, you have Alice kind of telling Arina, trying to push her along, you have to do this now too. You have to step up to him and tell him what for. And it's not like she's just giving that advice to Arina and she doesn't have the courage to do it herself. She just pointedly did it. She got up in his face, told him what for, and now she's telling Arina, you are his daughter. You need to exert control over this scenario. You got to tell him what is what the deal is, and you got to woman up, that kind of thing. And she, I think Arina is sort of evolving toward finding herself in that, frame of mind, finding the courage, and her going back to class is one perfect example of that. Everyone around her was really excited to see she's actually participating again. She hadn't gone completely away. She was just in hiding for a time. And Arina seems to think that her father's backpedaled away from her a little bit, but I reserve judgment on that. I don't know. He might try to exert control over her again if she gets too far along, that kind of thing. But then again, she's just by participating, she may be sort of by extension still playing into his hands. So we'll have to see. But I love the relationship between them, both coming back together, Alice and Arina, respectively. And again, the whole, we have Megumi and Soma going to class. Oh, the teacher or whatever got ousted because he wasn't going to play by Central's rules, so they got to have a substitute. Tsukasa comes in. And it's interesting because he's such a dichotomy in one character, in that he's so oafish and freaked out and skittish on the one hand, but on the other hand, he has this, very much outspoken confidence, or underspoken confidence rather, in a similar fashion to how Soma does when it comes to his own culinary skills, when it comes to his cooking. Everything else, and even the cooking, to a point, like he's worried, that Rindo's going to come and give him a hard time because he might have maybe forgot something, and how much he was pushing himself and how tight and twisted he got himself to, exert control over this classroom. But of course, he needs an assistant, a right-hand man, and nobody wants anything to do with it. Soma automatically doesn't even say a word. He just walks up, stands next to him. This is what you got, pal. Soma could give no F's, I'm telling you. And I love that. I love that oblivious nature of him. He is non-defeatist at all. It doesn't even enter his mind. Here is a challenge, and he faces it happily, giddily. He's like, a little schoolboy, like, let's go, let's rock and roll. And so he does, and because he has all that French cuisine knowledge from Shinomiya, I believe it was, who we reflect back on in this episode, he's able to stand toe-to-toe with Tsukasa and own it. And Tsukasa's kind of blown away by that, and I think everyone in the class was. I certainly was, because as I say, I never would have predicted that there was going to be a matchup with Tsukasa and Soma right now, at this point. And so he owns the day. He completely impresses the hell out of Tsukasa, to the point where Tsukasa just flat out asks him, will you join Central? Will you be my right-hand man? Will you be my assistant? And my jaw practically dropped, Of course, you have Megumi and Arina and, what's her name? I'm always forgetful of her name. Arina's, pride and joy, her best chum, her assistant. They are all eavesdropping on this conversation, and Soma's like, "Are you kidding me? You joined Central? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?" And anyway, why? What is Central after? And of course, you have Tsukasa dodging this, and just really with Soma's sort of bravado, I guess, with his assuredness. Tsukasa doesn't really like the way he's behaving, the way he's carrying and conducting himself. So that challenge is born out of this dialogue where essentially, Tsukasa's like, okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's see who the better cook is, after all. And what's at stake is the first seat of the Elite 10 versus Soma. You will agree and come and be my right-hand man. You will join Central, and you will be my assistant. Of course, Soma wouldn't want anything to do with this to begin with anyway, but especially the fact that he would have to agree to be Tsukasa's assistant. He wouldn't be a chef in his own right, a cook in his own right anymore. He'd be under Tsukasa's thumb and have to do whatever he wanted. There's no way in hell Soma's going to want that. So the challenge begins, and it's going to be French cuisine with venison and all this stuff. And, Tsukasa's already, 3 sheaths to the cooking wind as far as getting this meal prepared, to the point where Soma's kind of like, I don't know what to do. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't started cooking. He's kind of just like gobsmacked at what Tsukasa's already in the process of doing. And when he finds out, he asks Tsukasa pointedly, what the hell is Central's plan even about? What is this all amounting to? And so we get the other leg drop with the reveal that part and parcel of what they are trying to do to manhandle everyone located within Totsuki Academy is to spread outward and to effectively shut every restaurant in all of Japan down and make a uniformity of all of this, elitist culinary craft, as Azami sees it, as the members of the Elite 10 who have sided with him and become part of Central all see it. And it's like, really? This is, okay, you don't want to take over the world. You want to take over all of its restaurants, all of Japan's restaurants. Okay. Because of the pridefulness of Soma and the realization that this would take down every single little restaurant, including his family's own, how ass backwards and sort of psychotic that is to me. But this is enough to spurn Soma on to stand to the challenge and try to want to try to put Tsukasa in his place. And I beg the question, what is Soma doing? I'm not half willing to put money down on the fact that Soma is totally not going to win this. because I don't see him achieving, reaching the first seat of the Elite 10. Unless he beats him and then Azami exerts control and says, no, we're not going to honor this, this was unofficial, whatever like that. I'm just really fearful, but also intrigued at the prospect of Soma's defeat here. Because then, it would kind of throw a wrench in the works, but dramatically, it would be quite intriguing to have to now see him sidled up with Central against his will, and what he would do in that newfound position. Would he still, I think he would still try to achieve to learn as much as he can, but maybe he would start to try to want to fight from within or something like that, try to take Central down from within it. I don't know. But at this point, I can't wrap my mind around his beating Tsukasa and actually legitimately achieving the first seat out of Tsukasa's hand of the Elite 10. But I could be wrong. But at the same time, I kind of can't wrap my mind around the idea of his losing and then having to become part of Central. And that really goes back to what I said at the start of this video. This season has been twisting and turning left, right, and center all over the place and has been thoroughly, thoroughly unpredictable as far as I'm concerned. I have been on the edge of my seat, perched at every single drop, every single, bit of dialogue, every single occurrence that happens because I have no idea where it's going, what's going to happen next, and I'm just shocked and surprised at every twist and turn. And so it's kind of left me with bated breath to figure out what's going to happen next. What is the next oncoming twist and turn in however this is going to play out? I have no idea. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode. If you thought it was as gobsmacking and exciting and shocking and surprising as I did. If not, why not? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you're somebody who is familiar with the source material, naturally you would have all the insights already, and none of this would really surprise you all that much. In that case, without posting spoilers, tell me how you're enjoying the anime anyway. Are you still getting a sense of the vigor and the surprise maybe as you got while reading the manga? Is the adaptation, basically holding that same level of surprise, or the actiony elements, are they translating it well and everything like that? Let me know your thoughts on that as well in the comments below. But yeah, I can't wait to see where the hell we go from here, because I have no idea what's going to happen next. And yeah, otherwise, until then, I'll see you later. Catch you all later. Hope this video finds you well. And that's it for me on this one. Peace.